Hi, and welcome to episode 8 of the Aimless Yarn podcast, where two best mates talk about funny, awkward stories from back in the day.
Aimlessly,
I nearly cut. I know, aimlessly, yeah. I
aimlessly,
can't even talk today. I haven't even had a drink. What's
no.
going on? Hey
I don't
dear.
even
You
remember
alright,
what you said.
Luke?
What did you even say? I can't even remember what you said.
When?
Just now.
Aimlessly lamb or something like that. I can't put my teeth. I need to put my teeth in, Luke. I don't know
Oh
what's going
God.
on.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well,
How
I've
you
been
look
doing
anyway?
pancakes tonight.
Have you?
Yeah, we're doing a bit of tossing.
Well, you've always been a good tosser, haven't you, Luke?
What about you?
I've
Have
been
you
a
been
right
doing?
tosser.
Have you been tossing tonight?
No, unfortunately, because we always forget Pancake Day. And the thing is, if you forget Pancake Day and then you go into a shop, everything that's related to pancakes is sold out. So we just didn't bother this time.
Like the squirty lemon
Lemon,
stuff and
sugar,
sugar's sold out. Sugar's never sold out.
bags of sugar at blooming supermarkets. It's all over the floor and lot.
Oh God.
Treacle's gone.
Treacle.
Everything's gone.
Something going on with
You
me
know,
eye.
it's all grannies stuck to the floor where they've been having riots to get pancake stuff. I thought I couldn't be bothered. Can't be bothered. I must apologise this week anyway. If you're watching this on YouTube and I look very grainy, it's because when I left work today, because I normally use my work laptop because it's quite powerful for doing this podcast, but I left it at work like an idiot. So this is my daughter's old laptop, it's probably about 5 years old, this thing, but it seems to be running Zoom okay. It's just got a really crappy camera, so I do apologise. Luke was very upset when I joined the car.
Yeah.
Like, what's happened to your face?
In your
You look
house.
grainy. Yeah, because he's quite perfectionist, his Luke,
I can
with
see
video being.
your lighting rig in the reflection of the window there.
It's terrible, isn't it? It literally, right?
You want to tell
Right,
people,
this
you want to tell
laptop's so
everybody what your
old.
lighting rig is?
So my lighting rig, this is why we probably need donations, is a lamp turned on its side
I can see it in reflection.
to give decent light. Because if you didn't know from one of the previous episodes, I actually bought a decent camera, or what I thought was a decent camera, but it turned out to not be an HD camera. And every time you turn the light up that was integrated onto it, it just blared the screen out. So I ended up sending it back. So now I'm back to my old lamp. At least my mic's decent, though, ain't it, Luke?
Yeah, no, yeah. At least the laptop's got a USB port on it, has it?
Yeah. Uh, it's not actually too bad. It's one of these where you pull it on the tablet as well. It's quite clever. It's just, they get old, don't they? So they slow right down. This one's just slowed right down. But it's running Zoom all right, which is all right.
What's your week
Yeah.
been like?
So what have you been up to this week, Luke? Apart from obviously making pancakes. Oh, mate, it has been ridiculously busy. Like, stupidly. I brought me back.
You broke your back.
I've literally brought me back. I ain't brought me back, but it feels like I brought me back. I'm in pain with it.
So
It's pretty
what have
bad.
you done?
I well,
I
when you
don't
get
want
all
to
these
know.
annoying things, when stuff builds up. No, it's not that. It's definitely not that. No, when you obviously go through life and then shit starts breaking in your house or on your car or something needs fixing, and then this list starts building up, doesn't it? Well, this week, me and Karen we thought, right, we've got to get these niggles sorted. So we had a list of about 27 stuff. So I was fixing stuff in house. I fitting Karen got a new stereo for a car. Merc we've got.
Oh yeah.
It's got um, quite a small screen. So what we did was we upgraded to a 12.5 inch screens, but you got uh, to get. So we were going to change the stereo in Karen's car because it came with this like really small screen, which was like really annoying. So we've upgraded to one of these Android screens.
Right, okay.
So to fit it, you've got to kind of like take loads of stuff out. like glove box, and then you end up on your back in a footwell with your legs in the air, and then I think that's how I did my back. Whoops. My whole rig is falling apart here, look, as we speak. What else did I do? Oh yeah, we decided we're going to fit CCTV as well. So
Oh yeah.
I
Why
got
is there
one of those
something going on?
doorbells.
Are you worried about that? Something going on in
No,
the
it's
neighbourhood?
just no, it's just I think Karen's dad got one. We thought it was quite a good idea, so we got one of those doorbells. You know, the video doorbells. And what you do is you wire it into your existing wiring of your doorbell, and it powers it. So anyway, I wired that up. We got 3 other cameras, wired all them up with wireless, and then stupidly, they all, even though they're all same brand, they all ran off 4 different apps, which was ridiculous. Because we all wanted them on. I know. So we ended up packing them all up and sending them back to Amazon because we thought, well, this is pointless.
So yeah,
So I had to undo all the work I'd done.
rather than
Yeah.
so you had 4 cameras with an app each rather than one app with 4 cameras.
Yeah.
Right. Well.
And even though they're the same brand, they're called Victure or something. But doing more research into it, the amount of cameras. Well, yeah, I suppose you do, mate. So we're going to have to find some new ones of them. And then, Grayson this week, that was the other thing I'm going to mention. Sorry, I'm going on a bit now. But Grayson, all this week, has decided he's going to wake up an hour earlier. So 6 o'clock every morning. It's great. Yeah. I think it's because at light, though, look, you must be having similar problems, maybe. I don't know, because at light, it's getting lighter in the morning.
Maybe, yeah. Although Ethan seems to get up at the same time every day, all the time. So he's up through night all the time anyway. But
oh, fuck. You must be knackered, you two. Yeah. You must be shattered.
Pretty much.
You know, what about you, Luke? What have you been up to?
No,
apart from making pancakes?
New to report, really. No, not new to report.
No, at the weekend?
Oh, I've been banned off Facebook again.
Oh, for God's sake, Luke. What you done now?
Same thing. I thought, because I was trying to upload that video via the app last time, and I thought, I wonder if it's maybe something to do with that. And then, so I thought, well, it's on my phone, I'll try and upload it again. And just to see if I can kind of get away with it. But no, it's 3-day ban this time.
What were you trying to upload?
It's that fat bastard video.
Will you just give up with? You just give up with it.
Well, no, I'm not going to try it again. Because it might be a week's ban next time. I saw some on there, like some pictures from Ethan's nursery. You know.
Yeah.
I wanted to like one of it, and I couldn't because I've still got another 2 days on my ban left. Young kid, I couldn't like the picture.
Oh mate, that's terrible. That's terrible. Well, you should be posting all these naked photos.
I found out today that if I have to go, well, not today, I found out last week, if I wanted to go into the office, which I have to every week, I have to have a negative COVID test.
What?
At a walk-in centre, which is the other side of Huddersfield.
So hang on a minute. If you want to go into work, you've got to provide evidence of a negative test.
Of a negative test, yeah.
And that's the council doing that, is it?
That's what council's doing, yeah.
Well, that's where it's going to go then, isn't it, for everyone else? I bet you any money. Because I'm a manual worker, as you know. I have to go into an office environment where there is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 8 of us. We're all miles apart from each other. Yeah. But I reckon it's still going to get that bad, mate. Yeah. I really do. So, but I must admit, I'm getting a bit sick of this lockdown now. Yeah. Like I had a pretty bad week last week. Yeah, I was pretty down last week. We were just tired, and because you're just plodding through life, but like you ain't got that carrot on the end of the stick. Like if just going out for a drink, even once a month.
I know, yeah. I've had my first
just to
wage
see your mates
as well. I've had my first manager's wage.
Have you? How did that go then? Was it all right? Were you making it rain? Yeah,
like that. Yeah, going round exactly, just like that. Just flipping notes.
Yes. You're going to a strip club? A COVID safe
No,
one.
no, I can't go in one. They're all closed.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, dear.
Anyway, let's get to the point.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Well, that's our week, by the way, anyway. Oh, if is that your tea just arriving, Luke?
No, I've had my tea, but it's some toast.
Some
I've
toast!
been provided with some buttery toast.
Well, you might as well say that she didn't offer me none, did she?
No, well, you are like in Ipswich.
Well, we could have done this thing where I pre-set out some toast, right? And then you passed it me through the camera, and I picked it up. A bit of eye candy for people watching on YouTube.
I know, yeah. Anyway, what's today's episode?
Sorry, I couldn't make that out. Look, you had a piece of toast in your mouth.
Well, it's just toast, eh?
Yeah, you've had what's in your mouth.
Right, come on. What's today's episode about?
Right, so this episode, 'cause we were struggling last week. We thought we'd keep it open, but we've got too many funny stories to talk about. So relating back to us working together as cable engineers or cable guys. So we're gonna tell some more funny stories of when me and Luke worked together. Was it roughly between 1999 and 2001?
Somewhere around that, because
How long did we actually work together? It was just a year and a half.
I don't think it was that long.
It wasn't.
Still enough to talk about.
It wasn't long.
No,
Because we had a lot of drama, didn't we?
Did I leave? Had you left before I went to work in that casino, or
Well, they made me redundant, and then they brought me back a
then they
month
brought
later.
you back though as a one manner, didn't they? Fitting broadband.
And then they made us all redundant after that. So I was
Well, I'd left by then.
Oh yeah. Well, it must have been 18 months max. Must have been, because it was a tough job and it was really craply paid. But yeah, we thought we'd revisit some stories that we forgot about telling last time. So I think we're gonna crack off with that. Look. So the first story that springs to mind. So imagine this is me and Luke in a V-Reg white transit van, which would have been the old style rear wheel drive one, wasn't it? Had a makeshift roof rack. Do you remember makeshift roof racks they had? Looks like, I don't know, somebody had scaffolded some scaffolding pulled together and made their own instead of buying some. Not sure it was entirely legal since it wasn't their van. They just welded this makeshift ladder construction to the top of the van. And you couldn't get it through car wash, could you? Do you remember we went for a car wash?
We turned up at that car wash, didn't we? We thought we were getting ready to pay. And we said at that car wash. We got to end and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's it. You don't have to pay." We're like, "What are you on about?" And it just so happened we turned up at a car wash where the company, the wider company, actually could wash the vans there for free. Yorkshire Cable.
Yeah.
West. We just because you had to wash your van in the yard.
That were it.
We're all shitting up, wasn't it? And we're like, I can't be bothered doing that. So we thought we'd just go to a car wash and just pay to get it washed.
Yeah.
But it turned out that it were a hand car wash. We just seemed to choose the one car wash in Bradford where we could wash our van for free. So we kept going back there, didn't we?
Yeah. But do you remember that time that we couldn't go to it and there was one in this petrol station, an automatic one? And I pulled up at it, and obviously you got to go to attendant, haven't you, in petrol station, and ask them. And I says, "Will that go through car wash all right?" And he says, "Yeah, just take your ladders off." So we took the ladders off, and we went through it. He started washing it, and he got halfway and went like that, and just stopped and got stuck. And I think in the end, the attendant came out and he couldn't get it going again, so he just told us to drive, and then he just ripped a load of crap off of it.
Yeah.
So we destroyed
the thing. What's the thing that goes
all because of this homemade.
brushes. Yeah, brushes still attached to the van.
Oh God! And it's all because of that makeshift plumbing rail for the ladders. Oh God, that was funny. I didn't even put that on the list, Luke, and I remembered that.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, there is. Me and Luke obviously used to do a variety of jobs, didn't we? We were cable engineers, and if you don't know what cable engineers were, it's what you call now is Virgin Media.
Yeah.
And basically, it's a telecoms network similar to BT. It's a copper network, but instead of going overhead, it's all underground. And it was our job to run cable from a cabinet and then through jointing boxes in the pavements to the
Through
customer's
ducting
house.
underground, yeah.
That's right, and then it was our job to get out of this what we call a cat flap, which is a little triangle outside a customer's house, and it'd just be there where the duct would come out. And basically, what we would have to do would get that cable from that duct, however long the garden was, get it through the garden, through the wall, fit as many TV points, broadband points, telephone points, and extensions as they wanted. For about how much for a job for an install?
For a full install, it was 26 quid.
Each.
No, between you.
And it used to take about.
For a full install, and that would.
And it took about 3 hours.
Regardless of how big the job was, you know,
It
so
was
it might be a
ridiculous.
terraced house. Might be a terraced house, and the cab's maybe like a metre away, you know, and so you don't even need to use a rod to pull cable, and you might be finished in like 40 minutes. 26 quid. But you get a mansion in Ilkley and it takes you half a day. You know, you're talking, you don't get paid anymore. It's not hour, it's just on the job, you know. And then I think it was like 7 quid for an extension, and you had to split that between you. So if someone rang you, or someone arranged for an extension fitting, you'd turn up and fit the extension, and you had to split 7 quid between you. And that'd be a job.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I know.
You know, and we also did other things, so we'd do repairs as well. So we had easier jobs as well, like changing boxes out, didn't we?
Yeah.
And other ones were repulls where a cable had gone faulty and it was changing the cable out, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the easiest way to do that was just to tie the cable onto the end of the other one.
Yes.
And just basically pull it through, you know. You didn't need to use the rods that you put through, did you?
Well, this was it, that if you're doing a fresh install, you would have to rod at every single, what would you call, we used to call them pits, didn't we?
Yeah.
Every
like
single manhole
when you see
cover.
the manhole in the pavement, basically, you take the lid off the manhole, and then you just put the rod through the ducting and then pull it through at each junction point, basically. You might know it as a manhole, but they're usually referred to as a pit or a junction box, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Cloud, who's that in the background? They're very loud, whoever that is.
Yeah, that's Claire on phone too.
Claire. Throw a boot at her or something.
I don't know. You complain you can't hear me, but you can hear her.
It's weird. You've got the most random microphone ever. You can't hear you, but you can hear about background noise.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was very tough. I mean, some of these pulls through the pavements were like 300 meters, and that was either before you could get to the house, wasn't it? Before you got through the garden.
Yeah.
So it was blooming hard. It really was. You know.
But then the longer the pull, the heavier the cable as well, because you needed a thicker cable for the longer distance, didn't you? So you said
RG6 and RG11.
And RG11 were the heaviest cable, and you look
Yeah.
it were like with the rubber or the plastic casing, it were about an inch thick with this cable, wasn't it?
Oh, really? And heavy, and it came on a massive drum.
Yeah, so you had to lift that out of the van. You said
about a metre, wasn't it? A metre high.
Took 2 here to lift it out onto airframe.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And I think there were a job, weren't there, in Ilkley, Rupert Road. This is funny.
Oh,
right,
God.
So we got this job, Rupert Road. It's a repulse.
How did we get the job? How did you get the job? We had this
Yeah.
on the dolphin.
You need to do a repull at Rupert Road.
And where were we? We were in
whoever
Keith
had been and done it had fitted RG7 instead of RG11.
Oh.
So they'd pulled the wrong cable through. And we got
So there was
there.
too much resistance.
Yeah, so we got there and it was clear that it was RG7 and not RG11. And guess how long the cable run was? How far do you think the cable run was? It was 178 metres. 170. That is just, and for a cable.
How do you remember
massive,
178 metres?
Because I looked on the internet to see how far it was between cab and house.
Yeah.
On, just for this.
Ah.
And, yeah, 178 metres, and that is massive. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so we were at that job, weren't we? And
yeah.
I think we're halfway through pulling cable, and didn't Rick turn up? Partway through
Yes.
it.
Oh did. No! Well, the best thing.
He turned up just after we'd finished the job. So.
No. We went to this job twice, mate. Are you talking about the first time? Right.
The first time, right? So the first time we went to it. So the first time we went to it, it was down as a repull, and we had to pull the new cable through. And
then we got to the garden, didn't we?
We got to the garden, and it was like just trees and roots and all sorts, wasn't it?
And you could see like this mansion in the distance. Yeah. And we're like...
I mean, when we say distance, we talk about the length of the thing.
But it was starting to get dark, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so, but the garden were full of the way the cable went through, where the T was, or where the cat flap was, where it went through the wall. It went through where there's a load of trees and stuff in the garden. So imagine trying to dig a trench where you're going to bury the cable.
Forever, mate. Yeah, it would have took forever.
So because it was getting late in the day and we're Ilkley, so we're like 2 hours drive away from home, at least 2.5 hour drive. Even longer for you, because you lived in Sheffield, didn't you, at the time?
Was I in Sheffield at that point, was I?
Yeah.
Ah, bloody hell.
And so we just wanted to kind of get that job done.
Well, it was getting dark, wasn't it? I remember it starting getting dark.
Yeah,
and we'd only just got to wall.
Yeah. And
that were it.
I remember Rick turning up because
I just remembered.
Well, we pulled we pulled the cable, right? And then because we didn't want to dig the garden, you spliced the two cables together.
Yeah.
The RG7 in the garden, and then the RG11, the new fresh RG11 that we'd pulled, and then you buried it in tarmac, and it looked perfect. I remember looking at it and just saying, no one will ever know that that's happened because the tarmac was perfect. You'd spliced it together with one of the proper splicing kits. But we'd not realised, or we'd not really given it much thought, the fact that the heavier cable come from the cab, and we'd spliced it onto a
RG7
that had more resistance. We'd done it the wrong way around, basically. So that as soon as the signal hit the RG7 cable, so you lost everything anyway. So it was pointless pulling that cable. But you buried it.
But don't you remember when he turned up?
You buried it,
and it took some getting down, though, didn't it?
What, the cable?
But do you remember, though, I was trying to bang it down because it kept going up like that with the tarmac. I was like frantically doing that with the tamperer, trying to get it down. And eventually, it went flat. And I think the reason it went flat because I probably squashed the cable as well.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, Rick, do you remember Rick coming up?
But Rick turned up and you were doing...
I'm like that.
So... You were on the corner between Rupert Road and the road where the cab was, because the cab wasn't on Rupert Road; it was up down Rupert Road and up another road.
Yeah.
And so the idea, what you're meant to do was with the old cable, you're supposed to rip it out, want you throw it in back of your van, and then skip it when you get back to the yard. But because it's been in these ducts and there's waters running down there and it's all dirty and crappy. You don't want that type of cable in your van, do you?
No, you don't, no.
Getting everything up. So we buried it in the pit outside the cab. But
weren't you talking to him?
I was doing it. As I was doing it, Rick turned up. I'm like, come on, no, I need to get this in here before he sees me doing it. So you kept his attention. It was like a film. Trying to stop someone from turning round.
Yeah.
So he had his back to me. He had his back to me. You're talking to him, and I'm frantically trying to go into this pit.
You're like that. Your eyes are wide open doing that, and I'm like, oh, so what you been up to then, Rick? Are you all right? And you're doing this. Like loads of cable, though. Like the pit's filling up like that with cable like that.
Talking like 178 meters of cable, like buried in this pit, you know.
God.
Oh, God. Anyway, so you were trying to keep his attention, and then I eventually got it all away and put the lid on the pit, and that were it. That was job finished, you know, as far as we were concerned. And then, like, I think he might even been next day or day after.
Yeah.
Rick rings us. He calls us on Dolphin, don't he? Hi, Rick. You know that job at Rupert Road? we both look at each other. We're like, oh shit, he's found cable in pit. Do you know what I mean?
Worse than that.
Yeah, you spliced it, didn't you? And we're like, yeah.
Yeah. Right. There was no point denying it, was there?
Exactly. You spliced it, didn't you? Yeah. So we had to go back and do it all over again, didn't we? And then we had to have cable link van. Then we had to have dirty cable link van, and we had to have new cable link van because we had to rip that out as well.
Yeah, because we took the cable we dumped because we didn't want him to find out and put it in the van as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we ended up with 2 lots of cable in the van, if I remember.
2 lots of cable in the van, and then we had to re-pull it again.
Yeah.
Dig his garden. I just remember trying to dig that garden.
But why can't I remember doing the garden? I remember the basement of it. I remember going into the basement of it, but I don't remember pulling the cable in the garden, do you?
Yeah.
So I don't think it turned out to be too bad in the end.
No, it was just because of tree roots and all that kind of stuff. I think we ended up getting it, like, no depth to it whatsoever, just because of how bad garden was.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I can't remember doing it inside, but I could just remember that. I'll never forget that job.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I mean, how long ago was that? 20 years ago, you know, and it's like...
Well, 99, 2000, wasn't it? So you're talking 21 years ago, mate,
yeah,
nearly.
So you're like, God, and you just have them certain jobs that just stick out in your mind.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible. But he wasn't too bad about it, wasn't Rick?
No.
He
just wanted us to go back and sort it out, didn't he? That were it.
Yeah, that's all he was bothered about, wasn't he, at the end of the day. But why are you talking about cat flaps and that? What we used to call them cat flaps, didn't we? The little triangular duct covers just outside your house. Well, you reminded me because talking about splices, because sometimes we would splice at the cat flap, wouldn't we? If, say, for instance, we did a repull and the cable had been physically damaged before the garden, then we would just put a splice in. You could do that, but I remember
as long as you're using the same cable.
Yeah, as long as you're using the same cable type, it was fine. But I remember we went out to a cable pull, and we were at this cat flat. We popped it off, and we just pulled the cable, and we were just making it off. And anyway, what used to happen, because it was freezing cold, the insulation, you had to screw on an end.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you? Yeah, it's screw on the end and then put a crimper on it and then put a barrel on it. But you couldn't get the screw end in because it was so cold. So what you used to have to do was get a lighter and just lighter. Now, I'll never forget, I started my lighter up like that, right at the cat flap. And next thing is poo, like that. What the fuck was that? The next thing is a flame coming out of the fucking... a flame coming out the duct. And then it just went down the hole. We're like, what the hell was that? Because then I'm thinking, I'm like, where the fuck's that gone? I was waiting for an explosion.
Is this road going to blow up?
Yeah. Phew. That was shit. But the best thing was, right? The best thing was.
They always said don't do that because there's gas in the pipe.
Yeah, they did. But the thing is, right? They used to give us these old gas testers, right? And nobody used them. You used to stay on the bloody seat in the van and you'd never use it. Like an old contraption where you used to do like a pump like that. And they were like, can't be arsed, it's going to take us forever. So no one used it. Oh, dear. Oh, God, I just had a flashback, mate. Flashback. Oh, how could we miss this one? Right. There was an incident with Sierra Cable to do with Roadworks Guarding. So we all had to go on a training course in Bradford, and it made the managers go out after we had this course, go and check our setups, because we had to have proper guarding, because I think someone had an accident, a car had gone into the back at van or something, and we didn't have the proper
there was someone
lighting
in
and
a
guarding.
manhole or something like that in a car, he didn't have his guarding up and
Yes.
got knocked down basically.
That's it, and they made everyone take this course. So we took the course, didn't we?
I don't think it was Sierra. I think it happened maybe at Telewest or something like that, and then they had to do it then.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Sierra that it happened at.
But anyway, we had to do this course, and we did the course. I remember we had to even do traffic lights as well. Even though we didn't have traffic lights, they made us do traffic management on the traffic lights and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, we were on a job, and Rick was like, just be careful, because the management are out, and they're going to check, make sure that all your lighting and guarding's out properly. All right, lads. I'm like, yeah, all right. So anyway, we're on the main road in Bradford. And yeah, and we got another call from Rick saying, I think Pat's on his way. Like that. Says, all right, cheers. So anyway, we quickly set out as guarding how we were shown and that, and anyway, cracked on. Next thing on, silver Renault Laguna, because all the management had Renault Lagunas back then for some reason. No idea why. Yeah, pulled up with his high vis on and his helmet. How you doing there, lads? You all right? Anyways, he's walking around the van like.
This is something we keep saying.
He walks away. Which is something we keep saying, right? He walks up and down the van looking at us, nodding his head. And then as he's walking back to the car, turns round, looks at one of the cones and goes, that cone's illegal! He didn't have a sleeve on a reflective sleeve. Make sure you sort that out, lad. That cone's illegal.
You provided him. You know what I mean?
I know.
That wasn't
I think it was only stuck inside one of the other ones anyway. But he had to, didn't he? He had to just completely.
That
he couldn't,
cone's illegal.
Is it illegal? But his accent was so funny.
I think he'd been in though to house and he'd actually said about how good guarding was.
Yes.
First, we were in house and he came to inspect job.
That was
They
it.
used to come out and inspect jobs anyway, didn't they? Just on random.
Yeah.
And he actually he remarked on how good a job we were doing and how good guarding was. And as he left, then he noticed this illegal cone. That cone's illegal.
Oh God! Look, you just give me another flashback, Luke. Do you remember we were in Scotland?
Edinburgh, yeah.
Edinburgh. He came out on an inspection, right? And he literally walked. Was it me or you was drilling out?
I was drilling out, yeah.
Luke was drilling out. Now, when you drill in a house, you go inside to out, and you drill down at a slight angle so no water can get back up. But anyway, Pat pulls up, starts chatting to me. Good job. How you doing that? Just as he says that, next thing I know, see.
There's no
this drill bit?
Let me just get this in. Let me just get this in. They say that if you're going to drill out, you need to be like something like an inch or something, or an inch and a half above skirt to make sure you hit the mortar on your way out. Which is what I was doing.
You had some kind of funky angle going on there. You must have been on the drink the night before.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't get it right, do you?
Well, Anyways, I'm stood talking to Pat as he's complimenting our job. The next thing we hear this drilling, as you do. Oh, he's getting closer, isn't he? He's like, yeah, he's getting closer. He's getting closer. And the next thing, bang! Goes straight through an air brick and it shatters. And he looks at me, put his head in his hand and goes, Jesus.
But you
Well, the best thing was,
you tried to.
the best thing was, the funniest thing was, he went through the air brick and he started cleaning the hole out as well with the drill bit. So I'm like, what do I do here?
You
So
tried to repair it by gluing.
I
the
rush
brick
in.
up.
Yeah, we
Tried to repair it by gluing the other side of the brick up with some silicone.
silicone. I put it together like a jigsaw, like that.
It just looked worse.
Oh God, mate! I can't believe I haven't even got to my other stories yet, and I've just come out of nowhere.
Oh God.
Oh Jesus! Do you remember? We didn't used to like working in Bradford, did we?
No.
Because
We did like gardens and jobs were always like back to front, weren't they?
yeah, there's in Bradford. There's quite a large Asian community, and every culture's got their own kind of way with workmen coming into their house, etc. And one kind of culture with Asian communities, what they tend to do is when you're working, it's just how they are. They like to see what you're doing, don't they? They stand right next to you, which can be quite daunting when you're trying to work and do it.
Intimidating, isn't it? You know?
It is. It's intimidating in a way, yeah.
Because I think they just want to know that you're doing a good job and that they do want to know what you're doing as well. You know?
Yeah, that's it. And I think there was one particular.
I can be guilty of that though. I can remember getting
Can
sky
you?
fitted. Yeah, I can remember getting sky fitted, and I think only because I were interested in what he were doing. Really, I want kind
What?
of.
Because you used to do it.
Well, no, this is even before then. So I just had an interest in how we were doing it, you know, and so I was standing there watching him. So I think lots of people are guilty of doing it, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to leave them to it.
Yeah, I do. I just remember back then when I first had it fitted when I were in my like 18, 19.
But anyway, it brings me to the next story where I like to call this job the double bubble. And basically, what happened was we went out to this job, and what you used to do was someone was transferring from BT to cable. You'd use the existing wiring. Now on this particular terraced house, it went into the cellar, and then you'd backfeed the wiring. You connect it on. You cut the BT wire off. You'd put your cable wire on, and you crimp it together. But for some reason, we got the cable into there, went into the cellar, and we had to what we call double bubble, whereas you back the leg. It's either run 2 more wires up, or you just backfeed on the spare pairs, don't you? And we ended up double bubble. Right, so in a telephone,
you run the new cable in, don't you? Right.
Yeah.
So you run the new cable in, so you connect it to the cab, so you've got a dial tone, and then because they've had BT before, you basically connect rather than running brand new internal wiring. Because no one wants more than wiring than they need. You'll use the cables that were already fitted by BT. And in the wire, in the telephone cable, you've got what's called pairs. Basically, your telephone will only work. It works on 2 wires. It's a live and a bell, isn't it? Is that it?
Yeah. So you've got
a bell wire and a.
So you got a positive, a negative, and your bell wire.
Yeah.
So you got your blue, white, and your orange.
Yeah.
Your orange is your bell wire. It's only this country that does it, by the way.
So
it's because it's because this is where I'm getting technical now. It's because we all have a capacitor at the master socket
Yeah.
in this country, where every other country has a capacity in every socket, so you don't need the bell wire, but we do for some stupid reason. Anyway, carry on.
I tell you a bit. I was just saying about when the whole that bit there, but so we were feeding it back through the internal wiring.
Yeah.
So do your bit.
What do you mean do my bit?
Well, I'm just saying. I
you're just explaining. I thought you were going to take over. I thought you were just going to finish it
I
off.
can't remember much about this job, but I was just trying to flesh out the whole thing about what they mean by the internal wire, the existing wiring, and all that crap.
Yeah, so we put a new wire in. We cut the BT wire off, and then you attach. Oh, look!
When
I'm
you were
sorry,
saying
mate.
about backlegging it, I was just trying to. Because not everybody will know what you mean by backlegging it.
Well, I'll explain. But mate, is there any chance Claire can just shut the door? Because it's really distracting when I'm trying to listen. I don't mean to sound rude, but all I can hear is Claire.
Can you hear what she's saying?
Can you? Yeah, I can hear what she's saying.
Right,
And that's
okay.
gonna just go on.
Uh,
Throw a slipper at her or something. Put your foot down, Luke.
hey, she's on the phone.
Just throw it, get her attention. Get her attention.
She's in and out doing work, housework.
Yeah, but she's so loud on the podcast, mate. It'd be so distracting. Honestly, just give her a
Don't worry
wave.
about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
Just
it.
give her a wave.
It's just
all
not
right.
funny.
Okay.
Jesus.
I know it wears the trousers. Anyway,
Don't
so
even go there. I'll tell you after.
I'm just going to listen to Claire now. I'm going to listen to Claire's conversation.
Come
No,
on.
I'm joking. Anyway, so yeah, we were backlegging.
Right, wait there. Just wait. So, double bubble.
So yeah, basically, yeah. So what you do is,
Sorry about the pause.
you cut.
We just had a bit of difficulty there, so it might sound like it's a strange stop and restart, but yeah. So, carry on.
Yeah. So anyway, double bubbling is what you're supposed to do anyway. Is run two wires up to the master socket from downstairs, but the way around it is because you have spare pairs in a wire. Is you back feed the voltage back up the line, which means you have lots of crimps. There was a big bunch of crimps on the end of this wire. Anyway, we did the job. We went back.
Crimp per pair, not one crimp
Yeah.
per wire per pair, so you could end up with like 6.
Yeah,
This
we had loads of crimps on it. And anyway, we got called back to the job, didn't we? And we rake, and they took us downstairs, this Asian chap, and he took us into the basement, and he goes, look, shit job. Big mound of wires. We didn't even put it in an omnibox, did we? We thought nobody went down there, but yeah, we had to redo it, so that were pretty bad of us, wasn't it? But you learn as you go, don't you? That brings on to the next one.
Sierra, I wouldn't say all our jobs were bodgers, but some of them were, do you know what I mean? And I think one of the reasons why Sierra lost its contract was because there were a lot of really crap jobs. Do you know what I mean? I think they lost the contract because a lot of the work that were done were just bodged jobs. Do you know what I mean? And I the work that we did, I think we did, we took pride in our work, but I think it would just, I think at times when you're just fed up or whatever, or you just want to get you've got too much on, and you think, well, I know I can do this and make it work, so why put more effort in than I have to?
You're in lockerheads because you've got to get the work done, but you want to get home, but you don't want to dissatisfy the customer either. It's quite an horrible job. It's definitely a young man's job.
Yeah, that job was working just fine. It was working perfectly fine. It just wasn't aesthetically pleasing.
No, it wasn't. But yeah.
So he thought it were a shit job because of how it looked, but his system were working perfectly fine. It's just how it looked. And I think we kind of left it hanging out of an egg, didn't we, or something like that, because he just couldn't get them all in or something. It did look pretty poor, but we're in a rush as well. But yeah, with it being in his cellar, you just didn't think that it mattered too much. But if you think about it, you want it to look good, don't you? It's your house.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
Think about it like that.
But that brings me on to another shit job. which I'll never forget. It always tended to be you used to do a shit job when it started getting dark, or you wanted to get home. You just wanted to get it done, and I'll never forget. It must have, it was at Ilkley or Bradford, and it was getting dark, and you're drilling out um, out of this stone house, and I just nipped in because you were doing inside and I were doing outside. That way, we used to swap. So one person do it inside, one person do it outside. We used to swap.
Yeah. And then
Anyway,
realised how
Luke,
crappy you were outside, so I always did outsides after that.
yeah. So anyway, you were drilling out. This is another one of Luke's brilliant drilling out episodes. He was drilling out because he couldn't be arsed putting a sheet down. I forgot a sheet. He lifted the carpet with some pliers, right? Lifted it up as he's drilling, so all the dust is going under the carpet. And then he drops it and a plume of dust just comes out. But yeah, we're in a rush. So you did that, didn't you?
I can remember
And then
drilling out of a house in Ilkley, and the drill bit wasn't long enough.
oh god, you had to get a meter bit.
Lost the drill bit in the wall. It's still
Oh
in his
yeah,
wall. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Did you have to knock it through with hammer?
Well,
In
the
end.
problem was I couldn't reverse the drill because I don't know, it must have been stuck between two bricks or something like that. So I couldn't reverse the drill to get it back out. It wouldn't go through because it wasn't long enough, because the houses there were the walls were that thick. You just didn't realise. You thought you had a meter drill bit were long enough, but it obviously wasn't.
Yeah.
And I'm drilling and drilling and drilling, and I can see drill bit disappearing into wall, and usually you can tell, can't you, when you get into end, the vibration changes, done it on the drill, and you can just tell.
You can tell when it's nearly there.
When you're nearly there, but it just wasn't. It just kept going and going and going, and eventually that were it. The at the end of the drill met the wall, left a big rubber mark on wall, and that were it. And I tried to reverse it, couldn't get it out. And I ended
They were
up
Bosch drills, weren't they?
Yeah, and I ended up detaching the drill bit from the drill, and it was there. The drill bit was just there, sticking out at wall, and there was just no way of getting it out. And I think we tried to bang it in with a hammer, and it wouldn't budge. I can't even remember what we did now. I
think we left it.
That drill bit will still be in that wall. In that wall.
Do you remember? I think it was the same job we were on where you were letting the dust go under the carpet, but where we'd run out of riser guard. So we had to go through an external wall.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go back to you were like, we're gonna have to go back to yard and get some riser guard, and I'm like, no, I've got a plan.
Yeah, right. So
I went into the back of the van.
Or something. No, we're in Ilkley, but Bradford's just
Ilkley,
miles away, miles and miles and miles away. And so we'd run out of riser guard. Riser guard, basically the plastic covering on the wall, basically, so protects the cable.
Yeah.
From the weather or from someone chopping it or whatever. And you had different colours, didn't you? Depending on what colour the wall was, like grey.
Yeah, that way you used to get brown and white and cream, didn't you? I think it was. And we'd run out, hadn't we? So we're getting on a bit.
I just could not believe it when I saw it.
Well, I had a plan. I said, look, just go inside, I'll sort this. He said, what do you mean? I said, just you go inside, I'll sort this. And anyway, I thought, fuck this. So I looked around the van and grabbed some concrete and started mixing it up with some sand and some concrete. And then I got the drill out and I started drilling out the mortar where it went. And what I did was, where it comes out of the cat flap, I sort of like, where I cut with the drill, the mortar, I pushed the cable in to the mortar line so you couldn't see it, and then I slapped concrete all the way around it like that, so like it was just part of the wall. But as I'm doing it, Faz and who is it pulls up, gets out of the car, gets out of the van, looks at me doing what I'm doing. Oh God, John, what are you doing? And they had riser guard after all.
You've not been to stores for it, you know. You have to make sure you've been to stores to get all gear, but
sometimes you just forget.
Riser guard.
Yeah.
I know, but I just remember coming out and looking at it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because it wasn't like it was so obvious. It's just looked at the wall. Looks so shit. She's
Oh,
looking
bloody,
at
come
him.
on, 10 out of 10 for trying, you know what I mean?
I know, yeah. I remember
That was bad
what
on
you
my
said
part, I
about
must admit.
master points.
Do you remember that
I remember you saying just before about
having
master sockets
capacitors?
having capacitors and stuff like that, and I remember um, I didn't. I think at the point realised that you actually had to have the capacitor in the master to run the. I must have been new or
The
something.
extensions.
To,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I mean, to run the
yeah,
master. I thought the power coming from the cab
yeah.
was enough to make the point live. So because I didn't because I was
Well,
only
it
new.
would, but it wouldn't power the extensions.
No,
Yeah,
but it wouldn't. Unless there were a capacitor in the phone wouldn't ring, would it?
that's right, yeah. And it wouldn't
So
ring any extensions either if you
no.
didn't have one.
So what I'd done was I'd run out of masters on the van.
Oh, God.
I'd, I'd run out of masters on the van.
So you fitted an
That's
extension
a
and
bit
the
of an
phone wouldn't ring.
extension because I thought there's power coming down the thing, so that'll probably be it. And I plugged my book phone
Oh.
in, and that rang because
Yeah,
it's got
because that's got a
because it's got a
capacitor built into the
capacitor
phone.
built into the phone. So well, that rings, so everything will be all right. Do you know what I mean? So that phone's never rung.
Oh,
This
for
phone's never
God's
rung.
sake.
Yeah, I just thought
Oh,
because I was only new. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really know much about that part capacitor
well,
in
no.
the master.
You just thought it was an LJU. So what
Yeah.
they used to call them, didn't they? LJUs, didn't they? We don't call them that at BT. But yeah.
Mm.
But, oh, do you remember that? We used to rag van around, didn't we? Because everyone used to do
Mm.
it. Do you remember that really cobbly road in Bradford that were like that? It was like really windy. And one day I just thought, right, look, I'm going to make this van drift. And I went down this, I went down this cobble road, like really ragging it, trying to get the back end out. And you're screaming here. I'm going, John, no, John, like holding on like that.
I'm always
And
the
it ended.
sensible one in the van.
I know you were. And anyway, we went round the last corner and it started going, but then I ran out of talent. It just did a full 360. And he goes, what are you doing, Luke? What are you doing, John? What are you doing that for? I said, sorry, I was just trying to make it drift. Do you remember that?
You thought you were still driving your Nova. Do you know what I mean? You're driving a bloody transit van, for God's sake. You think
Do
you're
you,
driving a go kart.
that we want mine. Do you remember when I went in that car park, we Faz and that, and I tried to make it do donuts, and I just couldn't get it to do donuts.
No, I
Just
can't
wouldn't
remember
do
that.
it.
God, I remember sitting outside McDonald's
Oh
and
God.
we started dreaming up our own restaurant. Remember that? McDonald's.
Oh, was that it?
We'd stopped for his dinner.
Oh right,
We'd stopped for his
that were
dinner one
it.
day.
Oh, we were in creases.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
go on.
don't know who started it, but we're like, I think we should start a restaurant, a fast food restaurant.
Well, yeah, because we hated the job so
Yeah,
much.
we just sat there in van,
We hated it.
yeah, and the restaurant were in front of us. We were in car park, and McDonald's restaurants in front of us, and we just sat there eating his burger. That way, like, it was just. I think we should just start our own fast food restaurant. Oh yeah, what will we call it? Yeah. McDonald's instead of McDonald's.
Then we started creasing ourselves. Like, all right then, so let's just completely rip them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd have instead of a Big Mac, we'd have a big coat.
Big coat.
Instead of a Happy Meal, you'd have a Jolly Meal.
And then you had Roland.
And instead of
a clown. Instead of a clown.
can it be a fool? A fool. He's gone.
A fool.
Fool.
Roland McDonald. Instead of Roland McDonald.
A complete rip-off of McDonald's, but called McDonald's. That was just excellent. And instead of a round M sign, we would just have a jagged M sign. Just have different. Oh God, that was excellent. I'll never forget that.
McDonald's
McDonald's restaurant.
big coat.
Big coat.
Coming
God.
up with different meals, didn't we?
Yeah, we were in tears. I remember we were in absolute tears.
Oh,
Oh, do you remember when we used, when we were going to Edinburgh with lads and we all had a convoy of Sierra vans,
mm,
and every time we got to a set of traffic lights, we'd just bump each other in with each other's vans and poof, you
yeah.
twat. But they get every chat would get harder and harder, like like that, wouldn't we? We'd get a bit braver. And then I think we bumped into back of Faz's van, didn't we?
Mm,
And he gave us he put it in reverse.
yeah.
He ramming it.
I know.
Oh, we used
The
to
thing is, they
proper.
had metal bumpers at back and they were plastic up
Yeah,
front, weren't they?
yeah, that were it. But they could take some abuse. But I remember doing that. Do you remember on the way back from Edinburgh, Luke? You know when we were obviously we were speeding. We just wanted to try and get back within 4 hours because it's such a
Yeah.
long drive. We were covered in speed cameras. So what we did was, this is very naughty.
Oh,
We
God,
actually got a bit of black tape and made one of the letters into something else,
Mm,
so that if we did get flashed, we wouldn't get a fine. I forget which letter we changed. It was a letter or a number, but that was dodgy. But we were just young and dumb then, weren't we?
yeah, no,
Just complete risk takers.
I think that were
Just
even,
as you get
I think that was
older,
my
and
idea as well, you know.
I think you can get proper done for that,
Oh, no,
like proper done.
yeah.
You get a hefty fine for that. Oh God, Luke, do you remember this job? Caravanette.
Oh, God, yeah.
We went to this customer's house.
You really shouldn't.
No, it's not. We're saying what we're seeing.
We basically we didn't understand at the time, did we? What it
No,
was.
we didn't. No, we were young as well then a bit.
We we were quite naive. We didn't understand what it was, but I think he had autism or something. Maybe.
No, I'll tell you what had happened to him. Because he was living with his mum and dad. He was an older guy. He was probably in his late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
And he used to be really into motorbikes. And anyway, he had a terrible bike accident
Is that what
and
it
suffered a head trauma.
Right.
Yeah. So this guy was, brain damaged, basically. But we didn't really know, did we? So we didn't know what were going on. So we just went into this house doing a job.
Yeah.
And the next thing, this guy who was mentally ill, which we didn't know, just came into the room like as we were working, and he was going, "Caravanette,
Yes, but he had loads
caravanette."
He had loads of magazines with pictures of caravans and caravanettes, didn't he? And he was showing them.
Yeah,
trainers.
and he was showing them, and we kind of started figuring it out, didn't we?
Yeah.
In the end, there's something not right with him.
Yeah.
Bless him, but yeah, he just obsessed with caravanette, and he couldn't speak, and he could only say like certain words. So he was saying caravanette, and then I think his dad explained. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry if he's pestering you." I'm like, no, it's all right, mate. And then he explained what had happened to him, but I'll never forget. Get going on about all these caravanettes, and it kind of stuck. So when we got back in van, we finished job, we just kept saying caravanette to everyone, didn't we? Or each other. And then when we were driving, if we see a caravanette, we'd go caravanette, didn't we? We weren't taking piss. We were just quite odd, wasn't it? An odd situation. But I do remember that. Luke, do you remember going to this guy's house, an over enthusiastic guy? And he just wanted to fill us with toast. Do you remember that?
That happened.
You want some toast, lads? Do you want some toast? Come on, have some more toast. I think he just done a pill or something. It was so bizarre.
That
Wasn't
happened
it?
when I were at New Channels as well.
What? Someone tried filling you with toast?
A similar situation. I'd fitted this dish at this house, you know, and it were really complicated.
Would you like to explain that you weren't being a waiter? We will explain a little
A
bit.
satellite engineer.
Right.
I just
It's
fit
fitting
this-
us a mini dish.
Yeah, so it was really complicated job. I think it were like they wanted Sky Plus and then two spare set top boxes. And,
I used to hate them. Yeah.
so
You had to run a telephone extension for it.
yeah,
Second
then
and third
obviously
box.
There were that many cables to run. It were a nightmare.
Hmm.
And I was there ages doing this job, and all I wanted to do was finish this job and get away and do rest of my work because it took ages because clipping cables around outside, there was just that much to do. And
Yeah.
anyway, as I got towards finishing my job, I'm just like unpacking box and I'm about to start doing my education and stuff like that. And he comes in with
Yeah.
this bacon sandwich, and he says, "Do you want a bacon
Do you want
sandwich?
one?
Do you want a bacon
Yeah.
sandwich?" And I'm
I used to love that.
and I'm like, I really would like one, but I really can't. I've got to, and I've got a lot of work to do. So, but thank you. No, you're having a bacon sandwich.
I think this was with me, Luke. I think you were with me when I was teaching you.
No, this were on my
Are
own.
you
This were
sure?
on my
Oh,
own.
okay. Carry on.
But there is a job. I remember a job in Sheffield that I was working with when you were training me. But yeah, no, you're having a bacon sandwich, and I'm like, no, I really am okay. I have got my own dinner, and I've got quite a lot of work to do. But thank you. No, he says you're not leaving this house unless you eat a bacon sandwich. So I'm like, all right, I'll eat a bacon sandwich then, and I end up sat at dinner table with him and his wife eating this bacon sandwich. And I
Awkward.
just felt like, which is
Awkward.
so, yeah, just I didn't have what to say to him. Do you know what I mean?
Threatened to eat a
Guess
bacon
what?
sandwich.
But guess what? I had to go back
Go
to
on.
that job. I had to go back to it. And
No.
another bacon sandwich.
Why?
Because I put the dish too close to the bedroom window. I could see it out the bedroom window.
Oh.
So not only that, because I had to move the dish, that made some of the cables I clipped on the outside too short, so I had to run new cables as well.
Ah.
And then I had to
Did you have to eat another bacon
Then I ate
sandwich?
another bacon sandwich.
Did you have rashes and rashes of bacon in the
Oh
fridge?
God,
Did you have pigs? Did you have pigs?
No, I don't. Well,
And
I
that's
may
why
have.
you had
I
to
don't
have
know.
sandwiches all
I'll
the
get rid of
time.
all this bacon. But yeah,
Oh
I had to have
God.
another bacon sandwich when I went back. But I remember as well, before you just get back onto where you're going, I'm kind of on it now.
That's all right.
You were training me up in to fit Sky, and we went to this house in Sheffield.
Yeah.
I think you were in the middle of Sheffield or something.
Yeah.
And I went in, and you introduced yourself, and then you introduced me,
Yeah.
and it's Luke. I'm training him up, and he turns to me and goes, "You all right, big cock?"
That was in Rotherham. I remember
Not
it.
very well. You're all right, big cock. And I'm like, what?
Because you're from Huddersfield and you didn't know. Because I was seeing a girl from Sheffield at the time, wasn't I? And that's how I got a job over that end. But that's how they talk over there. They call them D-Dars. What's Dad doing down there?
What's that down there? All right, big cock. Like, what? We were just saying, all right, mate.
It's just a friendly talk, a friendly thing to say, isn't it? But yeah. Anyway, this toast guy, back to being working for cable. Literally, we walked in, and he was just on it. He was just like, "Oh, do you want some toast, lads? Do you want some toast?" Oh yeah, we'll have some toast. Go on. But then we'd eat. Yeah, do you want some more toast? It's all right. I've got loads of toast. Go on, have some more toast. And he was just buttering it up like that. He just like keep giving us toast. I'll never forget that. We were like, come out of there. We were pretty much full as like bloated, full of like white bread. We were like going to the van. For bloody hellfire! I'm full. That was so funny. Luke, do you remember?
We went into Alfie Roberts.
Alfred's?
Alfie Roberts, off Coronation Street. Remember going into his house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
We went in to do a job. And
Alfie Roberts, is that which one? What character is that?
I can't remember, but you were kind of a larger character. Do you know what I mean? And
Was it Arce? Is it him?
Butcher or something. Yeah.
Butcher.
Yeah.
Arce. Is it a bit like that? Bald, big, tall, bald guy.
Yeah, really tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what Alfie Roberts? I think that's what his character name was, and we didn't even realise it was a really, really nice house in Bradford, and we went in there. And I can't remember what job we were doing, but we
Yeah.
just finished doing the job and walking down this grand staircase. You know what I mean? And then there were a picture of him on wall. I remember thinking, why the hell have you got a picture of him on wall?
Picture himself.
I goes, oh, is that so and so off Coronation Street? He goes, yeah, I were married. I were married to him because he died. He
What?
died, and she'd been married to him, and that were his house.
Oh shit! I think I do vaguely remember.
Yeah, but what
So
a
he
house that was. You know what I mean? So yeah, but
I bet.
yeah, I were
Well, they
married
must
to
be
him.
on decent money,
Yeah.
mustn't they? Actors and that.
Yeah,
That's a
just have that. Yeah. So imagine if he were still here, still with us. I would have met him.
well. This is the thing because you're out and about so much. You tend to meet a lot of
Yeah.
people and people that know people, and it is quite that side of the job was brilliant, wasn't it? Just meeting new people and.
Yeah.
do you remember? Do you remember when we got caught in that rainstorm?
Yeah, no, we're gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Oh, were you? Well, right. Anyway, let me get the ground story. So, we got when you join Sierra, for some reason, I have no idea why, but they provide waterproofs. Waterproofs 20 years ago were these sweaty. They weren't breathable like
Non-breathable.
Gore-Tex is. Yeah, non-breathable. So basically, a bright yellow suit. I think it had a bright yellow hat as well. It was ridiculous. Full bright yellow, right?
Yeah.
And anyway,
Got
we never
reflectors
had
on
to
it.
use it. Yeah, no reflectors. It was just yellow, bright yellow. And anyway, we never used it, did we? But this time we're doing this job, and the heavens opened.
Yeah.
It were pissing it down. So we got into van, puts all this yellow gear on, doing the job, and then we looked at each other and we went, "Like bloody fisherman's friend."
And that's what kept us going, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were just laughing
parts
at
of that
each
job.
other.
One of the worst parts of that job was, like we were saying about the long cable pulls, there were a cab just up the road from that house. But the cab that we were using were up and round and down another bloody road and behind the house. It were massive.
Oh
And we
yeah,
thought it
and
were
we was
going to a
pissed off. I
different cab.
think.
So the worst part of it was we thought we had that. We thought this job might be done quicker, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. And I remember going into house pissed wet through, absolutely soaked in there. You know, wet boots, wet pants. You know, even though I've been wearing all those
Because it used
waterproofs,
to drip down your back, didn't it? Even though it was waterproof, it'd go down your back.
even though I've been wearing all that, I was still absolutely soaked.
Sucked.
Going into that house, I get bloody wet. Rat.
Do you remember when we used to?
Like?
Do you remember we used to set up the tripod? We had a little thing going. We set the tripod in back of the van and have the doors open,
You would drive down the road.
and I'd drive down the road as you were pulling it off.
What do you mean by pulling it off, John?
Well, you know, Luke, I just can't help myself.
Rather than setting the A-frame up, which
That
is
were it.
basically what the cable had sit on when you were pulling, when you were unraveling the cable. We'd set it up in back at Vance, and John would just drive down the road. And
You just hold on to
with the cable, drive down the road, and it'd be spinning round like that. It back at Van, wouldn't it? Then probably it'd stop, but it'd still be spinning round it back at Van, unraveling itself.
Yeah, I think we taped it, didn't we? We made a makeshift something in the back, something like that. Well, Luke, do you remember we were in yard that time and you rang up Kiss FM on a competition and you won that CD?
I remember being on Galaxy.
Galaxy, that were it. Sorry, no, it won't Kiss it with Galaxy. Yeah.
It were over 5 days. It were Battle of the Sexes.
Yeah, that were it. And this was this time of the morning when everyone were getting the stores, so all lads had radios on with doors open and engines running, and Galaxy on.
Yeah.
So there's Luke on bloody telephone. Everyone's going, "Hey, Luke's on radio."
And
Everyone can't stand
it. Battle of the Sexes or something like that, and there were a man and a woman, and you had to answer questions and stuff like that. And I think she won it, but I got a Battle of the Sexes board game out of it.
Was it Ant and Jojo or something?
Yeah.
Was it Ant and Jojo?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, God.
God, that's a long time ago, isn't it?
It is, because it changed to somebody else in Jojo, didn't it?
Yeah.
That lad from Barnsley after that.
Yeah.
What was his bloody name? Sam and Jojo, I think, something like that.
That was it.
But yeah, you end up winning that. Was it? Who does that song? That Catch Me song? Out of my way, I'm running. Not Keisha. It begins with a K. Can't remember what it is. But anyway, you won a CD, didn't you? They sent it through. You got a
Yeah.
free CD. CDs. Who has CDs anymore? But
Mm.
yeah, I remember that. And do you remember we kind of adopted a song
Yeah.
that went away? Do you remember it? Starlight.
Starlight, yeah. Right, so basically in the cab or the green box at the side of the road,
Hmm.
there's for cable anyway, you've got the extension sorry, the exchange side where the dial tone is, and then you've got the distribution side, which is the D side. So you've got the E side and the D side. And to make
What
the
does the E side stand for, Luke?
exchange,
Yeah, well done.
that's what I just said.
It's is it? Sorry, I'd fallen asleep.
I said you got the so you got the exchange side, which is the E side, and the D side, which is the distribution side. And to make
Yeah,
someone's phone live at the other end, you had to connect them both together. And
yeah.
we were listening to that Starlight song, weren't we? And we couldn't make out what they were saying. But what it sounded like they were saying, we're cabbing up on the E side.
Which is what we used to
On the
call it.
E side. And they were calling it E side, don't it? The exchange side, E side and D
Yeah.
side.
And we used to call it cabbing up, didn't we?
Cabbing
Yeah, we're
up.
cabbing
Yeah.
it up. We're cabbing
Cabbing
it
up.
up.
Who's cabbing up? You know, I'll do it or whatever. Who's
You
cabbing
should.
up?
You know what you should do is finish this
What
this
was that?
podcast.
What was
Finish the podcast with the song
that? Yeah. What was it though?
"Starlight" by the
Yeah, but
Starlight
what was the
People.
actual lyric? Do you know what the actual lyric was?
Yeah, cabin up on the east side.
Yeah, but what was it?
I
What was the
told
actual lyric?
you, I told you so. Something like I don't know. I never figured it out.
No, we're cabbing up on the east side.
So you need to finish this with that, I think.
Yeah.
What about that? Brings me on to Keithley birds, Luke. It says down here, grubby Keithley birds. Know anything
Uh,
about grubby Keithley birds, Luke?
well, I know there's a few of them there.
Got any first-hand experience of dirty, filthy
Um,
Keithley girls?
right. Oof. Moving on to I don't really know what you're talking about.
You don't? Oh, you obviously don't remember any. And you're not passing through.
No, I think I was working with my brother at the time, and this person walked along and just kind of. I think I must have been close to my brother leaving or something because I ended up working with you short after, and that individual was kind of still around and on the scene. So, but yeah, it were.
Yeah. Yeah, you won't go
was-
for a Keithley bird again
Yeah.
after that. You know, I was talking about Faz a lot. I
Fraz.
forget. Fraz. I can call him bloody Faz. Yeah, Fraz. What was the other guy called? The tubby chap. I forget his name now. Fraz and.
Tony. No,
Yeah, I think it was Tony. Yeah, well, Fraz invited me out because he was from Onley, wasn't he? Tony, that were it. Bloody hell. Fraz and Tony. You there? You there, Fraz and Tony? That's what it will. Try Luke and John. What was his 17249?
17249. Yeah.
We had his own codes, didn't we? So
Before
you'd
I
have a
worked
number for each team.
Before I worked with you, I worked with Carl, my brother, and we were 17248. And
So we were 17249.
yeah, and I remember it snowed, and we were driving to Keithley. We were driving to Keithley, and it snowed. And Carl were driving.
Right.
Now we're in middle, and then
Yeah.
we were working with this other lad. I can't remember his name, but anyway,
Oh,
we're driving, and we're going past this school, which is on left on way to Keithley, and some kid threw a snowball. Threw a snowball in the van.
right.
It came in through passenger window and got Carl in face. What the fluke of getting the snowball? He threw the van window and got Carl in face.
What did Carl do?
I don't know. I think he just thought it was funny. The fact that it actually come in through a bad window and got him. I think I think just the fluke of it just kind of made him laugh. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to do something with that.
You've reminded me, Luke, of that. There used to be an engineer who used to work with him. He looked really weird. He was really tall, lanky.
Looked half asleep.
Yes! He looked like he had spiky black hair, and
Tasker.
he looked a bit like Goofy.
Tasker.
No, that wasn't him. It was another guy. I'm sure.
Well, Tasker was there, wasn't he?
There was another crew called Brendan and Tasker, but there was another guy who used to work on his own. It was like this really weird guy, but he just popped into my head then. But anyway, I was talking about Fraz, wasn't I? Yeah. Well, Fraz invited me out on a night out round only. You couldn't come for some reason. Don't know why. We invited me out for a night round only. We ended up in the railway pub and ended up having a really good night, but I ended up drinking far too much, like ridiculous, mixing drinks, shots and everything, and ended up getting home somehow. I remember a bit of the taxi journey, like feeling sick, saying to the taxi driver, just go a bit slow, mate, I feel sick. Gets home, thought I made it, gets upstairs, manages to go to sleep, you know, when you put the foot on the floor. Because the room's spinning. And anyway, I wakes up at the middle of the night and I threw up all outside of bed. But I was so drunk, I fell back to sleep again. And I woke up to my mum tutting and scrubbing the carpet. I know, I'll never forget that. I'm washing these. But yeah. But that's pretty it. That was pretty much it, mate. That's all the stories I can remember for this episode. But I think we've covered quite a lot of the stories we'd missed over the time we'd worked together. I'd say we've only there probably about a year.
Yeah.
But reflecting back, Luke, it was a very hard and underpaid job, really, wasn't it? But it gave us some real laughs and memories, didn't it? You know, it was probably one of its shittest jobs ever.
Probably the worst job I've ever done. But
yeah,
but it's like because of the pay we're so poor. We get to a job that we're down as a reconnect, and we went there. All the internal wiring had been ripped out. The cable had been dug out of the garden. It was just a complete utter mess.
It wasn't a reconnect. It was just a full job, wasn't it?
So basically, we, on the paperwork, noted down a repull of the cable because it was booked as as far as we were concerned, it was booked as a reconnect. So we booked it down as a repull, an internal rewire, and a replacement of the sockets and stuff like that. And it probably would have earned us about 112 quid or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because even though it had been booked as a reconnect and we'd had to redo all the work, it's a full install. You're getting 26 quid for it.
That's how bad it was, though, mate. But we'll cherish memories it brought forever, won't we? And we'll always talk about it and have a laugh. I mean, look, we end up crying just talking about it. Yeah. But it's also where we let us trade as well, isn't it? I mean, I know you don't use it that much anymore. You're more of an office boy now, aren't you? But we learnt as trades as engineers, didn't we? And it gave us that experience we needed to do new channels and stuff like that, didn't it?
I went from there. I was a Sky engineer. I ended up at BT. You know what I mean? So leading on from there, obviously, again, that knowledge of telecoms and stuff like that. And then obviously from there as well, I ended up as a field engineer for a video conferencing company as well, so cabling and understanding the audio and all that kind of stuff. I'm completely out of that field now, obviously, but
I've still got my toe in it a bit, but I'm more testing now, aren't I, mate?
Yeah.
Myself, but yeah, I'm glad that I'm a bit more office based now because it is a young man's job, innit? Yeah. I mean, like I've been,
life, isn't it?
Yeah, because half the reason I've got a bad back.
Forever, but
I don't know how they do it. It's like you know Twinny, don't you?
Yeah.
Twinny, he's like 61, right, and he's got all kinds of aches and pains. But he's still doing it. He's still tarmacking at his age. And you think, how do you do it? His hands are massive, and he's weather beaten, bless him. You know, really weather beaten, and all elements, bless him. But he's still going. You think, how do you do it? But to be fair, he does say that all young lads do all back breaking work, and he does rollering now,
Right.
so that makes sense.
Mm.
But I'm glad I'm not in it because I think half the problems I've got with my back are because doing this job we used to do, mate.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's
doing
definitely
all
got a
that.
shelf life, I think, for.
Yeah, it's just a young man's game now,
Mm.
for sure, for sure. But
Because it hasn't changed, really. You think that
nah,
things might have changed, but you're still laying cables, you still got to put all that into
well,
them.
it's happening again, isn't it? As we speak, they're putting in fibre now, and they're
Yeah.
throwing it down at a ridiculous rate.
Mm.
I think it's something every 5 seconds. They were saying, reading in our newsletter, every 5 seconds is a new customer connected to fibre. It's something ridiculous.
Mm.
That's how fast it's going in. But it's. I think it also kind of like through all its highs and lows, it's kind of grew our friendship more as well in a way because
Mm.
you see yourselves in your lowest, but you also see yourselves in your highest points. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So that kind of helps you understand each other's kind of personalities. You know what I mean? So I think that's another reason why we're probably so close and so
Well, you got that
we've
shared
lost.
experience, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
we've got loads of best mates, but
Mm.
I've never worked with them.
No, you
So
aren't. No, no.
it's like we've got that shared experience that we pretty much go over and talk about every time I see
To
them.
this day, to
Still
this
talk.
day,
Yeah.
21 years later,
But it never gets
you know,
old, does it, when we talk about it?
does it heck? Because you relive it. You
Yeah.
relive it together.
I know.
And you probably hear us just crying on this blooming channel. Like at time, Luke especially, he loves to
Yeah. Mm,
cry
God.
when he laughs. But anyway, mate. But next week's episode, Luke. Is there anything that you want to talk about on next week? Are we going to leave? Are we going to leave it open ended?
Let's just leave it open again.
I
I
know.
think.
Because
I like to think about it as
I
a
was
weekly
thinking
event.
maybe new channels.
New
Yeah, I do
channels.
too. But I mean, new channels would be a good one. But we'll just have to see because at this moment, I think I'm struggling to think of stories.
Yeah.
Phil, bless him. I think we will do it. I think we'll do it and see where it takes us.
New channels.
Bless him. I've actually thought some stories already. So yeah, we'll do
What
new
were other
channels
ones?
next week. And if you don't know what new channels is,
What were other
it's
lads called? There were Phil, and then there were
oh Mike,
Mike.
silent partner, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
Let's not say
Right,
anymore
yeah,
because I
let's
think
say
that
what
is,
else, yeah.
yeah, we'll save that for next episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, please, as always, thanks ever so much for listening. But as always, please get in touch. I don't know why I say this, but please like, subscribe, everything. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Please comment. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us what you want to listen to, what you want us to talk about.
What you don't want us to talk about.
Yeah, we've also got an email, which is aimless.yarn@outlook.com. And as always, please always like and subscribe. Plugs and info. Virginmedia.com. If you want to find out what a cable network is, go on there. And I'm sure somewhere, if you type in, I don't know, Telewest or NTL
Yeah.
in the day, or Yorkshire Cable,
Yorkshire Cable.
which were all around the time we were working, it will bring up pictures and all that lot. So you'll be able to see what companies we used to work for as subcontractors. But look, did you know Sierra does still exist?
Yes, I think I do, and I think when I looked into it in not so long ago,
Yeah.
they were putting telephone poles up.
No, they're not doing that no more because they got caught. No, well, I'll tell you the story quick.
What they saw in bottom at
Yes,
poles
they
off
were.
there, you think, right, so they have to go in at least as tall as they are, don't they?
Yeah,
Or more or
because we
less.
climb them.
Yeah, so they have to go into the ground as deep as they are tall. Is that right?
No, there's a mark on the pole. It's called the 3 meter mark.
Right.
1 meter mark. Sorry, 1 meter has to be a 1 meter depth to be safe. And what they were doing were Sierra lost a contract with Telewest. Then for, oh, no, I know what we'll do. We'll start fitting telegraph poles for BT. Be great, so it will. But anyway, to get the jobs done quicker, they were cutting half a metre off the bottom of the poles and sticking them in because it were quicker.
And making them safer to climb.
And they got sacked. But they are still going. And their website, if you want to see what company we used to work for, it's a weird one, Luke. It's www.islandinc.com.
Island.
So it doesn't mention islandinc.com. So it doesn't even mention Sierra in any of the website. Probably because they're trying to do some kind of dodgy tax dodging thing. I don't know. But yeah, they're there. So have a look. Check it out. See what you
How
think.
do you know it's them?
Because it says it's them. Telecommunications. They're in Jamaica as well.
Okay.
They employ 1,600 people, apparently. They don't employ me no more, thank God. But yeah, also, people, Luke's got his own YouTube channel if you're into homemade movies. Not that type of homemade movies, but you know what I mean. And that is Lucas Film.
Lucas Film, yeah.
Yeah, I do my own YouTube channel as well. I've been a bit slack on that. I haven't done it for a few months, but we'll get back into it in the summer. That is Carflix, spelled Carflix. And yeah, just look me up, like, subscribe. Like I say, we're still waiting for his first email, first comment, and first like. But we will, I'm sure, in 10 years when we've given this up, someone will get into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, thanks ever so much for listening. Is there anything you want to add, Luke?
No,
Have I missed anything?
No. But I will say one thing.
Yes.
Watch this space for a bonus episode regarding a previous podcast. So just listen. I'll look out for a bonus episode. I'm not going to say anything about it here, but yes, just look out. Keep an eye out for a bonus episode. Okay.
Really?
Yes. All right.
All right. Well, it's bye from me,
And it's bye from him.
and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Ta-ra.